It's now 6 o'clock, and I would like to call the Rock County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. At this time, we'll have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Supervisor Schwartz. May we all stand?
Heavenly Father, as we begin this board meeting, we call upon your divine blessing and spiritual guidance. Open our hearts and our minds to your wisdom and direction. Help us to discern what is right and just, and to act with integrity and compassion. Pour out your favor upon our community and grant us success in our endeavors. Lord, we humbly ask you for your blessings to be upon each member of this board, community, and country. In your loving name, we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item is roll call.
Bobzien, Belke, Boswick. Here. Bryan. Here. Cullen. Fugelseth. Gorman. Here. Holman. Here. Knutson. Marshall. Here. Mawhinney. Here. Peer. Present. Pennycook. Here. Rashkin. Here. Ringhan. Here. Ryan. Here. Schneider. Here. Schulz. Here. Schwartz. Here. Stevens. Stone. Here. Sutter. Here. Sutherland. Here. Tillman. Here. Towns. Here. Whitledge. Here. Wilson. Here. Woodman. Here. Levy.
Here.
24 present, 5 absent.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, item 4, consent agenda. 4A, adoption of agenda. 4B, approval of minutes from May 8th, 2025. 4C1, appointments to the Human Services Board. D, recognition of county employees or others. D1, recognizing Christy Collins. D2, recognizing Shelley Hogan for service to Rock Haven. D3, recognizing Craig Weberg. E, other. 1, amending the 2025 Human Services Department budget to accept additional funding. E3, resolution to recognize and honor Rock County residents who have reached the remarkable age of 100+ years of age. 4, to ratify the 2024-2025 labor agreement between Rock County and the Deputy Sheriff's Supervisor Association. 5, awarding the contract for exterior wall restoration at the courthouse and Youth Services Center. That is the end of the consent agenda.
Would anyone like anything removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Boswick, second by Tillman. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Next item, please.
Public hearing. We do not have a public hearing this evening. Item 6, citizen participation, communications, and announcements. We do have several people signed up to speak this evening. When we state your name, please come up through the center aisle to the podium over this way. Please state your name and municipality. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak. Our first speaker is Brittany DeLeo.
Hi. Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Brittany DeLeo, and I am from the town of Harmony. I'm honored to speak this evening on behalf of YWCA to express our sincere appreciation to the staff committee and board for the decision to not eliminate the Community Initiatives Program. We understand the program is undergoing reform, and we value the transparency and inclusive approach taken to engage stakeholders through the process. As these changes move forward, YWCA Rock County remains committed to being open, collaborative, and proactive in helping shape the program's future to the best serve our community. Our organization works closely with both Human Services and Public Safety and Justice departments. Many of the individuals we serve navigate multiple systems, and the collaborative relationships we have built with these departments are essential to delivering the coordinated, effective support to those in need. In addition to serving Rock County residents directly, YWCA Rock County provides free critical training on the lethality assessment protocol to the Sheriff's Department and area police departments. The training is a vital tool in reducing deaths related to domestic violence in Rock County, underscoring the depths of our partnership with local law enforcement. We are deeply grateful for the strong partnerships we have cultivated with the county departments and for the continued support we receive. These relationships are truly symbiotic, with each partner playing an integral role in addressing complex and evolving needs of our community. As the Community Initiatives Programs is reformed, we hope the future decisions will enable us all to focus on serving residents directly rather than navigating the additional administrative challenges or funding uncertainties. Maintaining clarity and simplicity in program structure allows both community partners and county departments to concentrate on the meaningful work that benefits our residents most. Thank you once again for your thoughtful approach and ongoing support. We look forward to strengthening our collaboration in the months ahead.
Thank you. Next speaker is Heidi Deiniger.
Hello, my name is Heidi Deiniger, and I'm a resident of the town of Union and serve as the executive director of the YWCA Rock County. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening and to express our deep gratitude for the longstanding partnership between the YWCA of Rock County and various Rock County departments. Partnerships that are essential to advancing our mission of eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. We would like to sincerely thank the staff committee and this board for the thoughtful decision not to eliminate the Community Initiatives Program. While we understand the program is undergoing reform, we are encouraged by the county's willingness to engage community partners in the process and to consider how these changes can best serve the residents of Rock County. Collaboration lies at the core of our work. YWCA Rock County does not operate in a silo. Our staff are on call 24/7, 365 days a year. When a child is sexually or physically assaulted, experiences rape or human trafficking, they go to Mercy Hospital, they see a sexual assault nurse examiner, and we are there. We are there with them at the journey at that point. We do not wait for the child to come to the care house all the time. Sometimes we go out into the community to meet them where they're at. Our shelter, same thing. I think a lot of the sheriffs, police departments that partner with us know that they can come to us during business hours, but our staff, again, are on call 365 days a year, 24/7, to pick up a call if somebody's fleeing imminent danger, to come to the shelter, and we meet them there, and we take care of them at that moment. Thank you for continued partnership and for your commitment to the well-being of Rock County residents. We look forward to working together as these reforms take shape. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Kelsey Hood Christensen.
Good evening, supervisors. My name is Kelsey Hood Christensen, and I'm with Family Services of Southern Wisconsin and Northern Illinois at 416 College Street in Beloit. Tonight I'm going to speak to you in regards to the community initiative programs, which we are so grateful for the support that we have received through this program throughout the years, as it supported our community-based advocacy for survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking, thus supporting our mutual goal of ensuring every survivor has a safe and confidential place to go for services. We've had the privilege of working closely with several Rock County departments throughout the years to ensure that our residents receive comprehensive services. Together, we established a domestic violence leadership team in partnership with the Human Services Department so that we can cross-train and effectively co-serve parenting survivors. We also work together on the Human Anti-Trafficking Response Team so we can identify youth at risk for trafficking and offer effective and early intervention. And we work with the Rock County Jail so we can meet our Prison Rate Elimination Act requirements for sexual assault survivors there. We are so grateful for all of these open partnerships with all of the Rock County departments, as it only enhances co-served families. And it's with the emphasis on these partnerships focused on supporting families, I'm advocating for the community initiative funds to continue being part of the county administrator rather than the administrative responsibility of the departments. We welcome the additional transparency and openness that any reform to this policy would. We'd appreciate the opportunity to share our work with you all and have you learn more about the services that we do. But the administration of these going to the departments may blur the lines of those partnerships, and we would like to be able to remain focused on our co-serving rather than administration of funds. The perspective of the Rock County Direct Service staff are essential as they see the needs and the impact of non-governmental services every single day. But I hope we can find a reform that will allow us to value these perspectives, but keep the administrative burden with the county administrator. Thank you for your time, your support of this initiative, and for the support of the county.
Thank you. That was the last person who was signed up to speak. Is there anyone else that didn't sign up to speak which wishes to at this time?
Is there any communication from supervisors? Supervisor Knutson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. May we offer our condolences to two of our Rock County employee families struck by tragedy this last week. Please keep these families in your thoughts and prayers as they grieve the loss of their loved ones. Captain Jay Wood retired from the Rock County Sheriff's Office in 2020 after over 20 years of dedicated service. He passed away on May 19th. Captain Wood worked on the patrol and correctional sides of the Sheriff's Office. He ran the Courts Bureau as well as civil process. He demonstrated his compassion for Rock County and the Sheriff's Office throughout his entire career. Kelsey Martin passed away on May 19th as well. She was a 2021 Beloit Turner graduate and a 2025 graduate of UW-Platteville. She was planning on pursuing a Master's of Social Work at UW-Whitewater this fall. Kelsey's mother, Jessica Dillard, is a CCS case manager at Rock County Human Services Department. On behalf of everyone at Rock County, we offer our deepest condolences. We extend our warmest sympathies to the families of Jay Wood and Kelsey Martin. May God comfort those grieving, and may the cherished memories of Jay and Kelsey bring endless courage to their families to get through these days ahead. Thank you.
And before I call on the next person, if we could just take a little moment of silence just for those two families, please. Thank you. Supervisor Boswick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Another sad note, Steve Schroffnagel, the former planning department head some years back, recently passed away. Unfortunately, we just learned of this and the funeral services were today, so there's nothing we can do about that. But you might be interested in sending a card to the family. If so, contact me and I'll get the information out to you. Steve, he was a dedicated employee and a great guy as well. Another item, it's that time of year. My church, that is Trinity Episcopal Church, will be partnering with First Lutheran Church to host the Gifts Men's Homeless Shelter here in Janesville. Our stint goes from June 1st through 14th. I'm the coordinator, so I'm the one who lines up people that will be coming into work. We're looking for volunteers to handle evening supervision. That's from 6 until 9 p.m. That can be a man or a woman. And we also are looking for people for overnight shifts from 9 at night till 6 in the morning. This is men only. A woman can be on premise if there's a man as well, per shelter rules. I will be sending out an email to you people with details, and hopefully some of you can help us out. Thank you.
Supervisor Schneider?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At last county board meeting, I shared with everyone that I'd be volunteering as a bus leader on the Vets Roll trip, taking over 200 U.S. veterans and Rosie the Riveters to Washington, D.C. to show our honor, gratitude, and respect for their service to our country. During these last 4 days, something extremely special happens with about 20 veterans and Rosies on each of 10 buses, along with 15 volunteers and medics. We meet each other and go through about every emotion you can think of. Throughout all of these emotions and serving our honored guests each and every step of the trip, you realize that we all share a common bond of having our freedom as Americans. We all have one common flag we pledge to that represents those freedoms. Our forefathers have had the forward thinking to understand and put onto paper as our Constitution and Declaration of Independence. As we all took in these 4 days, we gave our service to all of these men and women who proudly served our country and who pledged to stand for those freedoms, even if it meant losing their lives, so that future generations would be ensured those liberties. I've had the honor of serving as a volunteer for Vets Roll since 2015 and can't tell you enough about what this organization has brought to the veterans in our community, as well as over half of our states in the U.S. Rock County is blessed to have the Finnegan family and the entire team of superb volunteers provide the closure that each veteran deserves when they come home, even if that closure comes years after their service. I'd like to thank Vice Chair Rich Bostwick for jumping into this role of also volunteering for this trip this year, as well as one of our honored veteran guests, Supervisor Lou Peer. Supervisor Peer was on the trip as an honored veteran in 2023. As we move forward into this Memorial Day weekend, I'd like to pay my respect and gratitude to all the men and women who paid the ultimate price for all of us sitting here today to have the freedoms and liberties we all hold dear. Let us never lose sight of what our American flag stands for, the greatest country of the world. God bless America.
Thank you. Any other supervisor with announcements? Any staff? Staff.
Two announcements tonight.
Got your mic on, John?
One is the
Got it.
form that you will find on your desk. Normally had a mic there. So, good evening. Two announcements. One is a form you're going to find on your desk. This is for the Wisconsin Counties Association. If you're interested in attending, get this form back to us. You can just fill it out real briefly. It's high level. Get it back to us, and Haley will work with you to make sure all your arrangements are taken care of. So if you want to turn it in to either myself or Randy tonight, we'll take it tonight. A couple of you have already done that. In addition to that, some announcements. We still have appointment advertisements out for Parks Advisory. It closes June 18th. ADRC Advisory, which closes May 30th. Traffic Safety Commission, which closes on June 4th. CJCC closes May 30th. ADRC Nutrition closes June 4th. Disabled Parking Enforcement Council. They're going to extend applications on that until mid-June. The Housing Authority closes June 4th. And the LEPC, we have 6 terms expiring on July 31st of this year. We're going to be sending that application out, notice to receive applications out for those soon. That's it, Chairman.
Thank you. Any other staff? Seeing none, next item, please.
Next item, item 7, nominations, appointments, and confirmations. We do not have any additional. Item 8, recognition of county employees or others. 8A, recognizing Nathan DeBoer.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Knutson, second by Wilson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, Supervisor Tillman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm honored to be here tonight to honor one of my former coworkers, and I'll share with you the resolution. Whereas Nathan DeBoer began his employment with Rock County on November 16th, 2009 as a deputy sheriff, and on February 5th, 2023, he was promoted to sergeant. I was part of that. Let's see. Whereas Sergeant DeBoer has diligently served the citizens of Rock County as a dedicated and valued employee of Rock County for over the past 15 years, having worked under 3 sheriffs over the course of his career, Robert Spoden, Troy Knutson, and Curtis Fowl. Whereas Sergeant Nathan DeBoer has been assigned to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Shift Patrol, responding to thousands of calls for service. Additionally, he has been assigned to the Jail Bureau as a supervisor on second shift. Most recently, he's been assigned as a sergeant of the second shift patrol. He exhibits a professional manner, has excellent communication skills, and in 2013, Nathan DeBoyer became a canine handler with his partner Sasha. Together, they faithfully performed investigative duties in many arrests, as well as aided numerous law enforcement agencies with vehicle contacts, drug seizures, and suspect apprehensions. He and Sasha provided demonstrations at many community events. Canine Deputy Sasha retired in 2022 after a highly successful partnership of over 8 years with Nathan DeBoyer. Sergeant DeBoyer has served as a member of the many specialty teams to include the Rock County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, K-9 Unit, Special Weapons and Tactics SWAT, Highway Interdiction Team, and Project Lifesaver Team. Whereas Sergeant Nathan DeBoyer has received numerous letters of appreciation and commendation, including 2 unit citations for SWAT in 2011 and 2014, a commendation award in 2017, and a life-saving award in 2017. And whereas Sergeant Nathan DeBoyer will resign from public service on June 7, 2025, now therefore be it resolved that the Rock County Board of Supervisors, duly assembled this 22nd day of May, 2025, does hereby recognize Nathan DeBoyer for his over 15 years of faithful service and recommends that a sincere expression of appreciation be given to Nathan DeBoyer along with his best wishes for the future. And I just want to say that over the years, Nate showed leadership, but he also showed caring for his coworkers and caring for his community. He was involved in SWAT, those high-risk incidents he willingly participated in. He enthusiastically participated in the K-9 program. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that it's not just the service of Nate, it's the commitment made by his family, his wife Tara, and his children that, brought a lot to the agency. And I really wish Nate the best in his next role in public safety. So, thank you.
Excuse me. I'll just have a few things to say because Nate won't allow me to talk for too long up here. When he started with us, I was a training sergeant, and I was one of the first people really to interact with him outside of the hiring process. And then through history of our agency, I worked with him on a number of things, including SWAT, kind of help oversee some issues that happen on and off with the K-9 program and a number of other things. Nothing really could be said higher than, boy, am I glad to see you in law enforcement. And I've said that about him more times than I can count. I appreciated the efforts that he put in on patrol, obviously, with the K-9 program, with SWAT, with Project Lifesaver, a number of things I was personally involved with. I think the world of him. I wasn't very happy with him when he wanted to meet here a while ago. And he told me that he was considering going to a different spot. I really wanted him to stay, but I knew he wanted the hours that he was going to be offered with this next spot, and I certainly couldn't hold it against him wanting to do something that would be better for his family. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the work he's done. I loved working with him and Sasha. He did a fantastic job with her, and she was always a wonderful thing to have and a key instrument in battling some of the crime that we have over the years. And she wouldn't have been what she was able to do without you. You got a lot to be proud of, both professionally and personally with your family. I couldn't think more highly of you, Nate, and I appreciate you and I wish you the best. And obviously, my door's always open. So thank you.
When I got the email for this, I thought, it's only 15 years, right? Not a big deal. They said, we're going to give you a recognition, which I thought was really cool. And at first I was kind of nonchalant about it, and then I thought about it. I have 3 kids, adult children, that 15 years is 90+% of their life. you know, it's more than 60% of my marriage to my beautiful wife, Tara. It's easy to, I know as public servants, it's easy to kind of get lost in the fact that you're just here and you do your job and stuff like that, but this really does mean a lot. I appreciate all the support I've gotten from the county board as an employee of Rock County. Appreciate Sergeant Fell and then Chief Deputy Tillman for all their assistance. I've had a lot of good people I've worked for, but I am happy with the opportunity to spend more time with my family. I've missed a lot over the years. I've done a lot of things with the county, and I really appreciate you guys for doing this for me tonight. Thank you.
Did you ever vote on that?
Yes, we did. Next item, please.
Item 9, introduction of new resolutions or ordinances by supervisors for referral to appropriate committee.
At this time, if there's any supervisor with a new resolution or ordinance, please bring it forward at this time. Seeing none, next item, please.
Next item, item 10, reports. 10A, Veteran Services, Paul Crawford.
Oop, oop. Hit the button. Sorry, everybody. All righty. Can I just hit slideshow? Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Crawford, and I am the Rock County Veteran Service Officer. I have been here with the county since 2017. I started off as a Deputy Veteran Service Officer 1 under John Solis, who was the CVSO here for over 20 years. I took over for him in 2021, and the only thing I can say is I love what I do. And so what I wanted to do tonight is come here to kind of tell you all just a little bit about what we do. So you hear we have a veterans office, but you might not know what we do or who we help, who we can help. So this is mainly informational. I want to give you a little bit of insight into what we do on a daily basis and into the lives of the veterans that we do help. So with this slideshow, I'm just going to go through some things. I'm not going to talk about absolutely everything because I would be here until like 10 o'clock. So I won't do that, trust me. But yeah, so I'm just going to go through some things that we do. I'm going to try to plow through everything and not too quick, hopefully. And if you guys have any questions on anything, I highly recommend asking them because I love questions. But just once I'm done with everything, just because I might get to it another slide, that's all. So the first word is rock, if you guys didn't know. So the Rock County Veteran Service Office, that's us. Yay. Look at that transition. Okay. So very first thing on here, I wanted to let you know what CVSO actually means. So CVSO stands for County Veteran Service Office, and my position, County Veteran Service Officer. So we are mandated by state statute 45.80 to be in every single county in Wisconsin. So not only Rock County, but all 72 counties and 11 tribal nations all have County Veteran Service Officers and Tribal Veteran Service Officers. This is an absolutely free service to veterans. There is no charge ever for any services by CVSOs or TVSOs. So what we do is we get accredited with federal organizations to where we can help veterans do their claims and sign up for VA healthcare and all the other good things I'm going to be talking about tonight. That's our new building. So for those of you who don't know, so we used to be right downstairs in the courthouse on the second floor, and we also had an office in Beloit. And my committees and the county administrator, they know are kind of, it was difficult to get veterans in. So what we wanted was a one-stop shop for veterans to be able to come into, to feel comfortable, to feel heard. And that's what we did with the help of Rock County, everyone, and it's a beautiful new building. The veterans absolutely love it. We absolutely love it. And not only are we in there, so all four of us now, so we're not in two offices anymore, we're just consolidated into one office, so we're always there. is we also brought in 2 other organizations. One being the Center for Veterans Issues, where they actually pay for space in there. And what they do is they help veterans who are in crisis, homeless, transitional housing, things like that. Also a free benefit to the vets. And we also have a place called Vet Center. What Vet Center is, that's an organization that was built by Vietnam veterans. And what it is, it's a free counseling service for veterans, where even the VA hospital will have no idea what they're talking about. So the HIPAA laws in there, everything is contained, where the veteran can actually talk about what's going on. They're not there to give out medication or diagnosis. They're there to actually hear the veteran. And it's going really well. We're getting a full-time counselor here in June. So right now they come a couple times a month, and now we're hopefully going to get them a couple times a week, and their book's already filled. So we are getting to more and more veterans every single day. But yeah, we're right in front of the new DWRC building, 1747 Center Avenue. So if you ever want to stop by, say hi, please do. So what this slide is, so these are 2 things we have. And this is just our office specifically. So the Veterans Service Commission is also state mandated that every single place that has a CVSO office has, where what it is, it's meant for emergency assistance for veterans in crisis. So there has to be budgeted levy money every year, and we use that money to give out things like gas vouchers, grocery vouchers. So we partnered with Woodman's here in Janesville and in Beloit. Veteran comes in, and a real thing that's happened with it, veteran's house burned down. Had to stay in a hotel for a while. Guess what? We're gonna hook you up. We're gonna get you some food. We're gonna get you some gas. We're gonna get you as much help as we can. And that's for any veteran who comes in. As long as the need is there, we will do it. And so that one's amazing. But even better, in my opinion, is our donation account. So the donation account is 100% fully funded by donations from absolutely anybody. And 100% of the money that comes into that donation trust has to go back to the veterans. Nothing gets skimmed off the top, nothing gets taken by the county, nothing gets taken by us. It all goes immediately back. We use this to help out with things like, let's say a veteran's in transition and needs that CVI help to go into transitional housing. We can pay for a hotel for them for a little bit. We've helped with their heater goes out, water heater. If we have the money, we'll help them. If they need help with, you name it, utilities, rent, mortgage, we've gotten veterans like new boots for their job. Anything that's in there, we'll do it. And last year, so I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but the patriotic concert that happens here in the county, put on by the Badger Court Hawks, an amazing program. They do it for a couple weeks straight near the 4th of July. It's really good. But what they do is all the money that they get, not only from them and the donations from the county, but last year they also partnered with Culver's and, I can't remember the name of the bank, but they matched dollar for dollar, all the donations. They presented us with a check last year for $20,000. Every dime of that money is going to go to veterans in need. So just from January 2024 to the present, we have already spent about $12,000 in veteran assistance, and we just continue to do it every single day. So the more money in that account, the more we can help. So I'm really proud about that one. I love that. Okay, so basically going on to other things that we do. So that's specifically our office. We can absolutely help with emergency things. So as a CVSO, what we help is we help veterans get any and all benefits that they're entitled to. And I wanted to start off with VA healthcare. So we are insanely lucky where we live if you're a veteran, and probably everyone else, but especially a veteran. So we have 2 locations here in southern Wisconsin. So we have the VA hospital in Madison, and we have a brand new clinic on Black Bridge Road. Apparently it used to be a bowling alley from what I'm told. But they revamped it. It's beautiful. I use it myself. But that opened in 2019, I want to say. So not only, and that outpatient clinic is more for just your lower level things, but if they ever need to send you to somewhere, we have the hospital in Madison, and it is, if you've never been there before, it is incredible. And one of the best parts about the VA in Madison is it's located in the same vicinity as UW, which has some of the top orthopedic surgeons in the world. So when a veteran has to go to the VA hospital to get surgery on something, 9 times out of 10, it's done by one of the top surgeons in the world for $0 and 0 cents out of pocket. Insane. So some things with VA healthcare. So there's no monthly premium for VA healthcare. It's a health benefit for that veteran. They have cheaper to no copays for medications depending on whatever's going on, and all their service-connected disability conditions are covered 100%. And we'll get a little more into that. But that's the first thing, one of the bigger things that we do. We get veterans signed up for VA healthcare, and once they get it, you're in. You can use the VA for whatever you like. It's just a normal doctor's office. And we have 2 of the best in the country, and that's not just me saying that. That is a literal fact. We're in the top 5 in the entire country. So one of the biggest things that we do on a day-to-day basis is deal with service-connected disability benefits. So what that is any injury sustained by that veteran in service. So let's say hypothetically, it could be a combat injury, absolutely. So if they were shot in the line of duty, or if they hurt themselves in service, and again, these are real things, like I've had a veteran who fell off of a Humvee, so a truck, and landed on his back, cracked his back. So he broke like his L4 or L5 or something like that. Service connected, which means that that condition was caused by service, which one gives him absolutely free medical care for that condition for the rest of his life. Surgery, medications, physical therapy, free. And service connected disabilities can also come with monetary value, which I'll show you on the next slide. But it can be for any type of condition you have. If you were injured in service, if you have, unfortunately, one of the presumptive conditions from Agent Orange, Camp Lejeune, Gulf War now with the implementation of the PACT Act. Those can be service-connected, which means you get monetary value per month, tax-free, and free medical care for the rest of your life. Plus, there are other benefits that come on top of that, which, again, I'll get into here in a little bit. So right here, so I know it's I tried to make it as big as possible, but this is the base rate of pay for VA service-connected disability benefits. It goes by a total body percentage, so I'm not going to get into that because that doesn't even make sense to anybody. But if a veteran, let's just say, is 10% service connected for whatever reason, that is $175.51 first of the month, every month, tax-free. You don't claim it on taxes. It doesn't go anywhere else. It just comes right direct deposit to your account. So 20% is $346, all the way up to 100% service connection, which is $3,831.30 per month, tax-free, rest of your life. It is life-changing what we do here in this office. So I'm not going to go through like everything here, but I just wanted to give you guys an example of what we do for this. So Agent Orange, that's where presumptive conditions started. So basically, veterans who came back from Vietnam started getting the same conditions over and over and over again. And the VA finally had to come to a determination of if they have a condition on a certain list, and they were in one of these areas, so Vietnam, Korea, Laos, Cambodia, Guam, and they have one of these conditions, which they aren't great. That's the only thing. But let's just say if a veteran was in Vietnam, has type 2 diabetes, automatic service connection. No questions asked for the rest of their life. Taken care of. Insulin, everything taken care of. So, and that's kind of what happened with everything. So they kept coming down with the same conditions over and over until they finally had to realize that there was no family history of this stuff. These are people from all over the country. The only thing they all had in common in this case was Agent Orange exposure. So anything on this list, if a veteran was in Vietnam or any of those areas, automatic service connection. That's what we can help out with. Same thing with Camp Lejeune, which I'm sure you guys have heard all the commercials and radio ads and everything like that. Same thing. Camp Lejeune water was unfortunately extremely toxic. So there's a lot of, unfortunately, cancers and things like that that have come up. Automatic service connection, any one of those, rest of their life. And most recently, in 2022, the VA passed what's called the PACT, or Congress passed what's called the PACT Act. which basically opened up more presumptive conditions for veterans who were located in the Gulf War from about 1990 to today. So if they were in any of these areas, so just things like Bahrain, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Djibouti, Egypt, Jordan, the Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, any of those places, and they have something on this list. Again, it was kind of the same thing over the years. Veterans unfortunately came down with these kinds of cancers, these kinds of conditions. So if you were in one of those locations and now you have a condition like that, again, automatic. And it can be life-changing money. That means you don't pay for any of your medical bills, and you have money to help take care of your family if this hinders you from working. The PACT Act has been an incredible thing. So now we'll switch on to death benefits. So another thing the VA has. So they have burial benefits, ceremonial burial flag, grave markers, and surviving spouse benefits. So this is one of the big ones I wanted to touch on just because there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to VA stuff. And the number one thing we hear with death benefits, unfortunately, is either they heard it from someone or their husband, their spouse, or whoever told them for years, the VA's got it when I die. The VA's gonna cover it. They cover nothing. They never have. So unfortunately, with these things that happen is, sometimes we get widows coming to the office with a $12,000 funeral bill, telling us that her husband told her forever, the VA's got it. And unfortunately, it's not the case. So this is a big thing that I'm trying to get out into the world is the VA doesn't always take care of that kind of thing. So you can get a death benefit. So the highest you can get is up to $2,000 as a reimbursement. Mostly that's if a veteran dies of a service-connected disability condition. So like, let's just say an Agent Orange veteran gets lung cancer and unfortunately passes because of that. That's a presumptive condition. That spouse will then get the $2,000 burial benefit. And then for non-service connected veterans, you can get $893 for the plot and then $893 for the burial allowance for a total of $1,786. And that, I don't know when the last time they looked at this, but I assume it's decades. A burial flag is always there for the vets. So basically when a veteran passes here in Rock County, I'm sure every county is pretty much the same, is the funeral homes will contact us, verify veterans' information, then they will contact the local VFW, American Legion, and they are the ones who put on the funeral honors, the 21-gun salute, and presenting of the burial flag. And the burial flag and the funeral honors, absolutely free. There are grave markers you can get. I'm sure some of you have seen these in cemeteries. So the first one is kind of what you probably see. It's a bronze plaque, 24 by 12, very nicely done. That's pretty much the standard one. But let's say someone already has a marker. You can always get this medallion as well. That can be placed on the grave marker. So you can only get one of something. So that just happens sometimes or let's say if they want the veteran and the spouse on there, the VA doesn't really do that anymore. So if they want one like that, then they can get the medallion on there just to prove or show veteran service. Just this past year, the VA came out with burial urns, which is a long time coming. More and more people are choosing cremation nowadays. So now the VA has something where they can give you this burial urn and or a plaque as well. So kind of going back to if a veteran passes of a service-connected condition, the dependent spouse can get something called DIC, Dependency Indemnity Compensation, which basically means, so when a veteran passes, all their benefits stop immediately. So if they were 100% service-connected, getting like $4,000 a month, it's gone. So what we have to do is, if that spouse is eligible for this, we have to pretty much get that in for them. So what would happen is, they don't get like the veterans pay, but they get a current monthly amount. Right now it's $1,653.07, tax-free, just like Service Connection. And it also comes with all the benefits that they were getting beforehand, which we'll get into in a little bit. But that's another thing surviving spouses can get. And this is all stuff we help out with every single day, whether it's service-connected disability, VA healthcare, Death benefits, we do it every single day. And there's even state of Wisconsin veterans benefits. And these ones are pretty slick. I'll show you. So one, the state of Wisconsin, you can get a veteran's driver's license identifier. So above Wisconsin, does this thing have a pointer? Yeah. Middle one. Right here? Sweet. I can't really see it. But above Wisconsin, on the driver's license, it says veteran on there. So that's something you can get from the Wisconsin Department of Motor Vehicles. And to get one of those, all the veteran needs to do is come by our office. We fill out a form for them. They take it to the DMV. Bada bing, bada boom, done. That's it. It has nothing to do with the real ID, though, so that one's just fun. So this one is really cool. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with veterans, but that's why I'm here. So when a veteran enters the service, one of the things they're offered is called the GI Bill. It's something that can help pay for college. So back in the day, it was called the Montgomery GI Bill, which basically gave them a certain amount of money, and they would take that money and pay the school and pay for their books, things like that. Now we have something called the Post 9/11 GI Bill, which is even a better thing. So the Post 9/11 pays for all the tuition and fees of the school, gives you a monthly housing allowance, and gives you a book stipend up to $1,000 per academic year. So you get 36 months of entitlement on that. That's about 4 years of school. So not only are veterans getting that 4 years of school, but if they join the service through the state of Wisconsin also has their own GI Bill for veterans, which is 128 credits to a UW school or Wisconsin Technical College, tuition and fees paid for. So technically, a Wisconsin resident veteran, if they get out of service, let's say 2 years ago, they would have 4 years of their federal GI Bill and 4 years afterward of their Wisconsin GI Bill. 8 years of school for free. And if that veteran happens to be 30% or more service-connected disability, not only do they get that 128 credits, I'm just gonna call it 4 years. They get 4 years of the Wisconsin GI Bill. If they're 30% or more service-connected disability, not only do they get 4 years, but their spouse and any immediate dependent get it as well. So if you're a veteran and you have a spouse and you have 5 kids, you're all going to school for free. Huge, huge benefit. And the state of Wisconsin also has a property tax credit. Some states do, some states don't. Some states, like, you just don't have to pay property taxes. And some, like Wisconsin, what it is, it's a reimbursement program. So a veteran who is a 100% service connection for whatever conditions that they may have, basically what happens is once they apply for it, they pay their property taxes as normal per year, either through escrow, pay it twice a year, or whatever it is. But then once they file their state income tax that following year, they get reimbursed their property taxes every year. And those surviving spouses who are getting that DIC benefit, so let's say if the veteran was 100% and they were getting the property tax credit, and then the veteran unfortunately passes, the spouse can then keep going on that property tax credit. So it just doesn't go out into nowhere. So that can be recouped by the spouse as well. And that's property taxes, it goes up to an acre of land per the law. So if you're over an acre, they prorate it, but if you're under an acre and you pay, like, let's say $4,500 a year, you get it back in your refund every year. Wisconsin's pretty cool. Okay, so that was just a little bit of what we do and the benefits that come with it. So what I want to talk about now is some numbers, and trust me, numbers are boring, but trust me, these ones will not be. And as my EVS committee can attest, they are staggering sometimes. So this is just a small outline of disability claims, appeals, and medical benefits that we've done since 2021. As you can see, the number keeps going up exponentially. So 2021, we did roughly about 187 disability claims. And years prior, 187 was kind of big. 2022 came along. That was the implementation of the PACT Act, where the VA came out with a lot more outreach and everything. So we started to get more people in. And then a funny thing happened in 2022 to 2023. So one, it was definitely the PACT Act. 2022, we moved to our new location. Well, we did last year. So 2023, 2024. But in 2023, luckily, we got something called the CVSO ARPA grant from the governor, which gave us $19,000 for media outreach, any kind of outreach. That's how we got our shirts. That's how we got all the stuff for our promotional items. That's how we go to more events. So the more events we went to and the more we promoted everything, we jumped from 314 claims to 478 in a year. And 2023 to 2024, like I said, we moved. And we still beat our previous numbers. We are getting more and more veterans. Our new building is drawing more people in. And these numbers just keep growing. And there's a big reason for these numbers that we're going to get to in just a second. New veterans. These are veterans who have never been to our office before, probably never seek benefits before. 2021, we had 97. 2022, 55. 2023, we had 218. 2024, 274. Brand new veterans. The past 2 years, we've had over 500 new veterans come to our office. And the numbers just keep going up. So again, the more we can outreach to everyone, the more that we're visible. That's what we want. We want more and more veterans to come in. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. And it's working. We're getting more veterans in. So don't worry too much about this one. The big thing I wanted to show you on this one is that it is rising every year. So what this is VA expenditure. So this is all from the VA's website, what they're called GDX numbers. Geographic Distribution of VA Expenditures. Sure. We call it GDX. So basically, the VA keeps tabs on everything all the money they give out to veterans and surviving spouses and whatever. So what this shows veteran population, VA compensation and pension, medical care, and total expenditure. Then this is just for Rock County alone. You can look up everything, but you can look up everyone's own county. You can look up by state, by just everything. You can look it up, all of it. One of the biggest things on this slide I wanted you to see is, so that first one there, the 11,000, that is veteran population. And that's a rough number. We definitely have closer to like 14 or 16, but this is the ones who are getting like monetary values from the VA. So the big thing is we went from 11,000 veterans in 2019, we are down to 10,000. And that's unfortunately what's happening with that is World War II veterans are unfortunately almost gone. Korean veterans are almost gone. And now with the PACT Act, with Vietnam veterans, we're getting a lot of Vietnam veterans who are coming in and getting these, unfortunately, cancers, things like that. So the veteran population is unfortunately diminishing. But even with that diminished veteran population, this slide is probably the coolest one in my opinion. So this is just for Rock County. What these numbers are, this is VA compensation and pension benefits. So all that monetary value, that tax-free number. In 2019, Rock County brought in $31 million into people's pockets. And as you see over the years, in 2020 we went up, 2021, and then boom, 2023, we brought in over $50 million into the pockets of veterans and surviving spouses of the county, right in the pockets. That's the thing we're doing. We're literally changing people's lives sometimes. Not only do they get a monetary value, they get free medical care, they get free schooling. There's more just niche benefits out there. So yeah, the more and more people that we can help, it's awesome. But yeah, so I just wanted you guys to see this. So because of what we do in our office, we're in 2023 is 50 million. The GDX numbers haven't come out for 24 yet, but I am very excited to see those because I can almost guarantee you they will be higher than that. This is our contact information. So again, we're on 1747 Center Avenue, Suite 100, Janesville, Wisconsin, 53546. Our phone number, our email, our website, and we have a Facebook as well. Basically, we welcome any and all veterans to come in, and that's what we want. We want to help. Our goal is to reach every single veteran of Rock County. It's a tall task, but we are getting there. The more we put our name out there, the more outreach we do, the more veterans who, word of mouth. hey, I went to the Rock County Veterans Office, they helped me out, you should go check them out. Like, you were in the service, and that's probably the biggest hurdle I think we get is, so if any of you are veterans out there or know a veteran, you know we can be very stubborn, prideful, never go to the doctor. So that's the hardest part, is getting them through the door. But once they do, it's a lot better. And that comes from a lot of different things. I think it's from years of misinformation or maybe a bad experience, because the VA used to be terrible. It was terrible in the 70s and 80s. It is not that way anymore. And when people come in, usually for the first time in years, they usually come back to us and say, I can't believe it's like this. This is amazing. They bring more people in. So yeah, the more people we get, that's the goal of everything. We want to help out as many people as we can, and I believe we're doing that. So I want to thank you all for your time. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Any questions? Supervisor Snyder?
I just want to thank Paul for being such an attribute to Rock County. He brings so much excitement and joy, and I think with him being a veteran, he can relate to these guys that he's working with, and that's important sometimes with that trust factor with a lot of them. So I really appreciate how you're so willing to help, and being a veteran too. Sometimes I think that is important to serve others for your own meaning too. My only question is, I think I ran across a veteran who said that he was getting some sort of compensation because would there have been Agent Orange exposure in some of the training camps in the states like Florida?
Yes. So big thing with that. So yes. So basically Agent Orange had to be brought somewhere, had to be made somewhere, had to be shipped somewhere. So technically when Agent Orange presumptive benefits started, you had to be on the perimeter of the bases in Vietnam. So basically if this is a perimeter of a base, you had to like touch it in order for the VA to consider you like you were exposed to Agent Orange. And we all know it was everywhere. It's in the ground, it's in the food, it's in the air, it's everywhere. So that's, now they're more laxed on everything, and they even opened up to blue water Navy, so if they were 12 nautical miles off the coast. But now what they're getting into more is there was plenty of this stuff in the States, like Eglin Air Force Base. Basically anything on the coasts, littered with it. And they're doing more and more studies now. So at a national conference I went to 2 years ago, the secretary of the VA said that they are working on presumptive locations in the United States now. So those presumptive locations hopefully will open up to places like Eglin Air Force Base and all those other bases that were exposed to Agent Orange, because there's tons of evidence for it. Now they just need to put it into law. But yes, many, many, many locations, and hopefully they get to that soon.
Supervisor Bryant?
You talked about that compensation fund. How much money is actually in that total amount of that?
The donation account?
Yeah.
Right now we're sitting at, I think, 30 or 40, something like that. It's about 40,000. We budgeted about 20,000 of it this year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Supervisor Ryan? Can you turn your mic on for us, please? Thank you.
Can that, what do you call that? The vase that you give away, can you still get that even if they passed away within less than a year?
At the what they give away?
That, for the ashes.
Oh, the urn?
The urn, that's the right word. I couldn't think of
Can you give it away?
Pardon me?
Is that what you said?
Can I still get one even though it's passed, that they passed a while ago?
Have you ordered any other VA grave marker?
No, I haven't dealt with any of that yet.
Okay. Yeah, if nothing else has been ordered, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, so please call my office. Stop on by. We'd love to help you.
thanks.
Supervisor Peer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Paul, I'd just like to thank you for the presentation. I would encourage everyone here, I'm sure most of us have a veteran in their family, to have them come up or contact maybe ahead of time and go up to the building out there on Center, including yourself. Go out and see what it's about. It's really a tremendous experience. The other thing I wanted to say, Paul, could you share, like, are you going to do anything at the county fair or anything out at the airport? Could you share anything on that?
Yes. So right now we are scheduled for a couple of outreach things. So first coming up next month, it's June, right? Yeah, it's June. So we have a Veterans Benefit Fair at the Elks Lodge on June 11th. Then in July, Pistons and Props is going to be at the regional airport, and we're going to have a presence there. And so that's going to be a lot of, if you know nothing about Pistons and Props, go to their website, look it up. It's going to be super awesome. It's going to be really, really cool. But yes, we will be there for that. Then so that's over the weekend. Then the following week is the Rock County Fair. We will be there for a week. Let's see. And then after that, we will, so the three we usually always hit every year is the Rock County Fair, the Janesville Senior Fair, and the Beloit Senior Fair, and then we just do anything else that we can get our hands on. But yes, we try to have a presence anywhere that they'll have us.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation. Next item, please.
Next item, 11, new business. 11C, amending 6.121 of the Rock County Code of Ordinances, Rock County Public Health Ordinance, private sewage systems.
Is there a motion? Motion by Pierce, second by Sutherland. Supervisor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It was determined that the public health ordinance was not in line with state statutes when approving or denying our, what they call POUTS, private septic permit. Per state statutes, POUTS permits must be approved if they meet certain criteria established in administrative codes. The ordinance change is intended to align the public health ordinance with the state statutes and Department of Safety and Professional Services rules that govern the approval and denial process for POUT systems in the state of Wisconsin. And that's a good summary, but I would like to share in addition, probably the last 15, 18 years of the health department. From my perspective, I've been on there, and how this can really help a lot. And in the ordinance, or excuse me, in the resolution itself, on line 23 to 25, it says, in alignment with Wisconsin State's Statute 28145, if a city, village, town, or town sanitary district has an ordinance requiring structures within its jurisdiction to be connected to the sewer main, then a sanitary permit shall not be issued. When I first went on the board, it seemed so logical, and I really couldn't understand how there was a big problem. Because when you have we'll just call it a septic tank, and something's happening to it, or maybe you're building a new house and and it happens to be in a district that has septic tanks, it seemed logical to me that you would just find out where that is and what municipality is responsible for that area, and that would determine whether you can get a permit or not. You're either in that district or you're not in that district. If there's a sewer line there, then you hook up that the city constructed, you hook up to that. But as I served on the board, these people started coming every once in a while, and they say, well, we bought this house many years ago, and now the septic, like, I don't know, the average septic probably lasts 20, 30 years, depending on the size of your family. And but anyway, it would come to the point where they needed to have that redone. And along would come a municipality and say, you know, we have a sewer line there, And therefore, the county can't approve that. And the people would say, but there is no sewer line there. I couldn't get over that. It's one of those things that you, like on the county board, you go along and you assume certain things have already been dealt with. And come to find out, at least dealt with effectively, come to find out, they were telling the truth. When you went out there to the property, there was not a sewer line from the municipality. And like Corp Counsel says, sometimes the devil's in the details. And so what was happening on that is in the past, practices said legally, if the property was within a town, but within an agreed distance of municipal sewer provided by, say, the city of Janesville or Beloit, and the city could provide service within 6 months, then the permit denial criteria were outlined in that statute to fulfill the law. So I want to have your mind engage a little bit here and think about that. Imagine if you were that family and your septic was going bad. Your family was going into the bathroom and flushing that handle like they'd done 1,000 times before. And all of a sudden things were backing up. They weren't going where they're supposed to be. What do you tell your family? You contact somebody. What can we do? So you come to the health department to get a permit, and they were coming up with this practice. The city municipality had 6 months to rectify the situation. Well, we found out when some of these people have been dealing with it longer than that, sometimes a year. Can you imagine what that would be like? And if we come forward now, the cost of that, one way you can rectify it as a personal owner of the property is you can get that septic pumped, right? Well, when I first was on the board, it cost about $35 to $50. Today, it costs $250 to $300. I just checked this afternoon. So we would have these people come sometimes that had, I remember one that had, it was either cancer or leukemia, I can't remember which, was in dire straits, already dealing with that. And then the septic system started falling apart, was backing up into the house. And so what we did as a health department is we created a variance, which allowed us to make an exception to that and grant that they could get a permit to go ahead and put in a septic system. Now, I don't want to create enemies or anything like that. I think as years go by, we cooperate more and more. But we actually had attorneys from the city that was involved with this one that almost threatened the board. We will see you in court. I remember the words. And some of you remember Sandy Kraft was head of the board at that time. And she looked at me and we talked to a couple other people and said, boy, what's going to happen now? Well, they never did. They never did. But this resolution is to rectify that situation so that that can no longer happen. We're going to come into compliance, and so that those restrictions that were put on with that will no longer be in effect. So we would appreciate your vote on that very much to help the citizens of Rock County. And if you have any further questions, I also have our health officer, Katrina Harwood, here, and Rick Wiederson, our environmentalist, and they are experts. They'll be glad to go into more details than I have here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Supervisor Gorman.
Yeah, I'd just like a point of clarification. I previously heard about this resolution as being about being in accordance with the administrative rules that emerged from a state statute around the Dispatch Department. But hearing Supervisor Peer talk right now, this seems to be actually the fulfillment of a longstanding policy goal of the county in order to make it harder for certain properties to be annexed by municipalities. So I'm just wondering if someone could speak to whether this is a resolution about being in accordance with the law, or if this is like an active policy decision of the board that we're cementing.
Yeah, the resolution is about being in compliance with the law. So, I mean, there is a long-standing difficulty with dealing with POTS permits. So we call them connection permits in properties that abut both the city of Janesville and the city of Beloit. And that has gone on for years. But the prompting of this change was solely at my research and direction. So as that process was sort of unfolding in 2023, I was asked to take a look at this law. It was the first time I had really dived deep into it in terms of, was our practice in compliance with the DSPS regulations for the purposes of granting permits? And so in the realm of the way that septic systems are regulated, we operate as the agent of the state. We do not have any independent policy prerogatives with regard to septic systems. We have to follow state standards. There is preemption of local control about any standards with regard to this regulation of septic systems. And so what the state regulations really say is that you can only use the regulatory criteria to approve or to deny a septic permit. You can't use any other criteria. And so we were using a criteria that relied on this 208 water quality plan that was developed between the towns, the city, the county, and that was not permitted under state law. And so as that research became clear, the health department has already stopped using the criteria that's outlined in our ordinance because it violates state law. That was confirmed by DSPS, it's been confirmed by the DNR. So this ordinance really is about bringing our ordinance back into compliance with state law because it had become out of compliance with state law.
Supervisor Gorman?
Just to follow up, so you did check that that this wasn't in conflict or violated any other departmental regulation across any department that wasn't DSPS? So there's not a rule from another department or anything that this would be in conflict with?
There's no regulatory authority from any other department. I mean, we receive all of our regulation on septic systems from DSPS. There's a provision in state statute that allow municipalities to pass ordinances which require connection. So, and that could function with regard to, this gets really into the weeds. So basically, historically, there have been these criteria in the 208 water quality plan that the city of Janesville and the city of Beloit have used to do extraterritorial annexation. So if you live within a certain distance from the identified area that's serviceable by the municipal service and sewer, even if you don't live in the city of Janesville and the city of Beloit, they have the ability to require you to connect to those connections under our old scheme. Under state law, they can require their own residents to connect to their systems, but they cannot require other residents to connect to those systems. They could form boundary agreements with their neighboring municipalities that would require those connections, and then the neighboring municipality could pass an ordinance that would adopt those boundary agreements, but that requires cooperation between the contiguous municipalities, and right now there are none of those boundary agreements in place. So if, for instance, the city of Janesville and the town of Harmony formed, or the town of Janesville or the town of Rock, formed a boundary agreement that said any of your contiguous properties that fit within the 208 water quality plan would have to connect to the sewer and water in the city of Janesville, and they would have to be annexed. Then, under this revision of the ordinance and under state law, if that parcel applied for a connection permit, then we would deny it. And we would say, nope, your municipality has an ordinance that says you have to connect to this sewer system. So because of that ordinance, you have to connect. But what they were doing was they were doing that without forming any of these boundary agreements or without the contiguous municipalities agreeing that that's how that was going to happen between those parcels. So there is still an avenue for the city of Janesville, the town of Beloit, to continue to engage in annexation through this connection to the sewer system. But in order to do so, they're going to need to form boundary agreements with their neighboring municipalities.
Supervisor Schwartz?
Thanks, Chair. That really got to the heart of my question, being a supervisor that has both Town of Harmony and Janesville, and they're fighting this battle over annexation every day. So it's good to hear that at least there's some remedy there, that at least they can agree to it, not be forced into it. So thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Next item, please.
Next item, item 11D, resolution implementing the process for the Rock County Administrator Performance Review.
There a motion to approve. Motion by Bostwick, there's second. Second by Tillman. Supervisor Tillman and Schwartz. Or Schwartz and Tillman, whichever.
Thanks, Chair. So we put this resolution forward because as I came onto the board, I noticed there was no formal process for actually doing a performance review on the county administrator. And it usually was only done when some comment would be made at the time their pay would go up. And I know Supervisor Tillman had the same view. So we worked on a resolution to try to come up with a process that we could actually put in place, not so much to, more for the benefit and to give guidance to our new administrator as he goes through to what do the board members feel and see, and help give guidance to help him learn, grow, and work better with the board in itself. So it's a pretty straightforward resolution. There's a process. It looks like we went to a policy to make it policy versus just a straight resolution. So that was added to it, but. The end of the day, we think it's a good policy. I know Supervisor Tillman and I spent a lot of time looking at what other municipalities do, looking at different questionnaires and to come up with a process, and this pretty much mirrors a lot of those. So,
Okay, thank you. Any questions? I just have a comment. I want to thank you for doing this as well, because when I first got on, that was one of the first questions that I asked as well is, do we have a document for it? So I'm glad that you two took the initiative and moved it forward. So I'm not seeing any questions or comments. So all those in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Next item, please.
Next item, 11E, confirming and ratifying the authority of Council of the Rock County to add additional defendants to opioid litigation, including in MDL 2804.
Is there a motion? Motion by Gorman. Is there a second? Second by Wilson. Corp Counsel, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can take it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a resolution which seeks to really clean up some issues that have arisen in the multi-district litigation over the opioid crisis that we're involved in. So as many of you know and remember, we have been one of many units of local government that has served as a plaintiff and sued the manufacturers, distributors, and retailers with regard to opioid prescription medications in an attempt to recuperate some of the expenses that local governments and state governments have had to expend in response to that epidemic, whether they're in the criminal justice system, in the behavioral health system, or family disruptions, or whatnot. And through that process, we've reached settlement with a number, nationwide settlements with a number of these entities that have served as defendants. And as we've gone through the litigation and discoveries occurred or more information has come out about the relationships between manufacturers and distributors and pharmacies and all of this stuff, we've added defendants, and we've filed amended complaints that have added defendants onto that case. Recently, we've sought to add a defendant called OptumRx. OptumRx is a pharmacy benefits manager, and in response to that, OptumRx has adopted a very aggressive sort of counter strategy to prove and argue that many units of local governments and even states did not have the authority to add them to the litigation. And they have asked for public records disclosures, that have asked for the retainer agreements between us and our counsel, which is Krieger Dickinson. They've asked for the organic resolution that authorized the county to engage in this litigation. And in fact, they filed a notice of claim a few weeks ago that made it clear that they were going to be suing us to try and get an injunctive relief that articulated that they thought that we didn't have the authority to add Optum Rx. In other words, that the original resolution didn't contemplate adding Optum Rx as a component of the litigation. Right off the bat, I would say our plaintiffs' counsels disagree. They believe that the original resolutions were sufficient in order to facilitate the additional defendants that have been added throughout the litigation. And there have been many. You know, there's probably been 15 or 20 additional defendants at least that have been added throughout this litigation. Optum Rx is not the only one. But that being said, they've recommended that counties kind of adopt a belt and suspenders approach to combating this issue and adopt a resolution that ratifies the decision to add defendants, including Optum Rx, throughout the course of the litigation, and further would authorize additional defendants if they're discovered by plaintiffs' counsel to future components of the litigation. And by doing that, we just eliminate the ability for Optum Rx to even argue that we don't have the authority to allow our attorneys to sue them. Really, you know, this is saber rattling. That's been pretty effective. So I was actually talking to Andy Phillips this morning about this litigation. And it appears as if of the 4,000 plaintiffs in the course of this nationwide litigation, they've already shed something like 1,500. You know, local municipalities that are just like, we don't want to deal with this. And they just decide to drop the case and go away. And that's their whole strategy. Just pare down the plaintiffs as small as we can so that if we have to pay anything, it's as little as possible. And so this is just a kind of amelioration of that strategy on our behalf. And once we file this, or once we adopt this, then we'll give that to our plaintiffs' counsel, and they'll be able to use it as an argument to say that they were allowed to sue Optum Rx.
Questions, comments? We do have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Next item, please.
Next item, item 12, adjournment.
Motion by Bostwick. Is there a second by Woodman? All those in favor of adjournment say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none,